to the Face It show presented by Fayette County Public Schools and the 16th District PTA. We just wanted to remind you that during this challenging time, we believe that it's better to face it together. The Face It show is created for a shared space and time, as well as allowing a virtual interaction to discuss relevant topics that are happening right now and at the forefront of our minds.
This is a time for us as a family and community to engage together and support each other. Face It is a platform for real talk, real relationships, and real ways for us to express what we are feeling.
Absolutely. So by now, y'all should know who I am. I'm Melody Westerfield. I am the FACE, the Family and Community Engagement Liaison, located at William Wells Brown Elementary School.
And I am Vita Stewart, the District FACE Liaison. Today's topic will focus on facing a different summer. And this is a community-based summer learning. I know last week we talked about facing a different summer at our schools, but this week we're looking at the community. And we have a few special guests that are with us today to help us to discuss our topic. Mr. Fitzgerald and Ms. Ewing, will you please introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Eamon Fitzgerald, or Fitz, and I am the Family and Community Early Childhood District Liaison with Fayette County Public Schools, and I manage the First 5 Lex program.
And I am Randy Ewing. I am a outreach associate at the Carnegie Center for Literacy and Learning downtown in Lexington.
Hey, Randy. And so we also have one more person here to help us talk about this topic. That's Jessica Berry. Come on, Jessica, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jessica Berry. I'm the VP of Mission Advancement for the YMCA of Central Kentucky. I'm excited to be here to talk to you about summer programs that are happening in the community by community partners.
Absolutely. Well, good to have you all here. I'm going to jump this questionnaire off to you all. This is for everybody to answer, but I'm going to start with Jessica first by asking you about the services that your organization or agency provide to families.
So this summer is going to be a different summer as
Absolutely.
we know it. So one of our programs is called the Power Scholars Academy. We usually partner with Fayette County Public Schools and offer that in person. This year it will be a virtual platform. It's going to be a 4-week virtual platform that is going to include field trips, not the usual field trips. We won't be going anywhere. They're going to be virtual field trips. We'll have instruction virtually. We'll have backpacks of activities that we'll give to our families. So we're really excited about offering that July 13th through August 7th. And then on July 6th, we will have in-person summer day camp at 3 of our branches. It is going to be at a reduced capacity. We typically serve about 500 kids per day at all of our branches. We've lowered that to about 3 branches where we'll serve about half that. About 245 kids. We do still have some open spots, but you know, it'll be themed weeks. We'll be outdoors. We'll be able to do some swimming. And so kids just come out and get to be kids, but socially distanced.
Okay,
Jessica, as you might know.
Tell me this, how do you engage? How are you able to engage and make families aware of these services?
So you can go onto our website at ymcacky.org at any time, and you can find information about our day camps. For our Power Scholars Academy, you could call any branch and just ask for Jessica Berry. That's me. And I can tell you more information and get you registered. We also have some things going out via Facebook to engage families. And typically, if you've done anything with the Y, you've probably seen information about our summer day camps, and you will begin to see information about Power Scholars Academy.
Okay. Fitz, you're up. Same 2 questions.
Sure. So I get, just to piggyback off what Jessica said in terms of how we engage with families, social media with First 5 Lex is our biggest one. Facebook and Instagram are really big for people with young children. They go there a lot, but we've also we've tried everything else. We've done the traditional mass mailings recently. We do yard signs, and we also partner with any other agencies to kind of get that information out. So if somebody's already talking to families, instead of trying to get a different email from us, they just kind of include it all together.
Thank you.
So, in terms of programming, sorry. Our big program that we generally do with Fayette County Public Schools is the Countdown to Kindergarten program. So that is any rising kindergartner that registers for kindergarten with Fayette County Public Schools. Usually, traditionally, you would go to the school, you'd get this kind of big, thick packet, and in that packet would be tips for learning through the summer, things for families to do, as well as a list of events that they could go to, and a coupon. And they would take this coupon to the public library. They would get a free t-shirt, and then that t-shirt would be their entrance fee or ticket to just a handful of events with all of our wonderful partners here in Lexington. That, of course, like Jessica said, everything has changed. So we're doing kind of a virtual event this year, whereas it's open to all of our rising kindergartners, but it's also open to anybody else that wants to take part. So every Saturday, starting last Saturday at 10 a.m. On the First 5 Lex Facebook page, we have one of our partnering agencies do a age-appropriate activity for kindergartners and their families. So we have one every Saturday through August. We also we'll have some kind of helpful videos for rising kindergartner families, such as what is Infinite Campus, and things like, who do I contact if I'm having problems with my iPad or my email address, and those kind of things. We'll also have a few videos with some special guests, kind of, welcoming the families to the Fayette County family. So that will be available to anybody. We will also put all of those videos on the First 5 Lex website, with all other resources, and a lot of the resources that we have are not ours that we created. It's basically connecting families to other great resources like the Y, like Face It, like the Carnegie Center, the Explorium, and all those kind of things around. Our goal is to help families kind of navigate everything that's out there.
Okay, thank you. And we learned last week talking to Bob Moore, didn't we, Vita?
Yes.
I forgot the number already, but Bob gave us a handful.
Oh, it was at the top of his thing.
Absolutely. We learned that last week. Call Bob. He got the number. Okay, Randy, last but not least, same 2 questions.
So the Carnegie Center has spent the last more or less 30 years trying to empower people to explore and express their voices through the literary arts and imaginative learning. And normally in the summer, we have summer classes for kids and families and tutoring. Of course, our building is closed right now, so we've moved all of that online. Our classes are pretty small right now, and because of that, a lot of them are full, but we have classes that are going to open up again in the fall. And so we encourage families to go and look for classes there. But we have also been in this time contacting Kentucky-based authors and having them do story times and readings, which are up on our Facebook and our YouTube channels. Every week we've been putting out a craft video that combines writing and craft so that families can go and not only get a story, but get something that they can do, something active. And one of the things that we like to do at the Carnegie Center is, because we're in the old Lexington Public Library, we like to offer a free book for anybody who comes. Since we can't do that right now, we've been restocking the little libraries around town. So we've put more than 200 books in over 50 little libraries. And what our hope is that families will go out, take a walk, get a book, read together, talk about that. We think literacy is an active and engaging thing, and summer is a great time to do that, to read outside, to move around, and not just be static, but to write your own stories. A lot of the craft videos have writers giving kids tips about how they can write their own stories. And I always think those tips work for kids, parents of any age. Anybody can take a writing prompt and write a story. So we're encouraging people to do that. We also always have a back to school bash. Normally we get to host that in Gratz Park with music and entertainment, face painting. This year, what we're going to do, we normally give out 100 backpacks. This year, because we can't have the festival, we're going to give out 200 backpacks. It's going to be a drive-through event. And so we're asking, that'll be August 7th. We're going to do 2 slots, August 7th and 8th. August 7th from 11 to 2 p.m. and August 8th from 1 to 4. And so we will ask families, if there's no registration required, it's first come, first serve. And we'll all have on the appropriate masks and gloves, but give backpacks with school supplies, with learning at home supplies, and age appropriate grade level books for the students that are coming. So we're excited to be able to do that. And, you know, the silver lining is because we can't have the festivities that we normally have, we'll be able to offer more supplies and books for students. So, and all of that information is available on our website at carnegiecenterlex.org.
Okay. So shameless plug, whatever you have left over from, bring it over to William Wells Brown. We can utilize it.
Okay.
Okay, so you, Vita.
All right, thanks guys for that information. As a grandparent, I'm going to be looking for all of those things to engage with my own grandchildren. But the next question is for all of our panelists, and we'll start with Miss Ewing. But this is kind of just thinking about the past, the present, and the future. So what challenges have you seen that our families are facing this summer? And then how have you shifted your services or changed them during this pandemic to meet those needs? And then lastly, how is it shaping your future? I don't know if you're like us, we've shifted, but we realize that some great things have come out of this. And in the future, we're going to move forward with some of those things. So just kind of talk about the past, the present, and the future, starting with Ms. Ewing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think everybody's having that conversation, and it is both challenging and exciting, right? So in the past, I think the way we've tried to engage families is to invite them into the building and to be in that space, whether it's with tutoring, because we have over 300 kids that come through the building for tutoring, or classes that children and families can be a part of. So in the immediate kind of aftermath of the shutdown and stuff, what we were able to do, kind of surprising for a low-tech bunch, was get all of our stuff online and get connected with those authors. A big part of what we do is connect local practicing writers with people who are going to enjoy their work, who can learn from their process, and that's kids and adults. And so in kids specifically with outreach, what we've tried to do is find engaging ways for them to have those stories, and those online and craft videos have been a big part of that. We've also created several activity packets that we've been passing out in activity kits to local community centers, and also been putting in the little libraries. So those are ways that kids can kind of keep their brains active and their minds turned on. So word searches and scavenger hunts and things like that, we've been trying to keep doing those types of things. And I think we're going to continue to do that into the fall. We do a lot with the local with the Fayette County Public Schools, and we're hoping to increase that. And we're hoping that because we have learned these online platforms like everybody else, that even if there's NTI, we'll be able to bring these writers into the classrooms. We'll be able to get these literacy kits with games and activities to students so that they aren't falling behind and they're continuing to stay active at home and at school.
Great, thank you. See, Eamon, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it kind of echoes everything that Randy was saying, is that especially for First 5 Lex, you know, our goal originally was kind of bringing everybody together that, you know, had a very early childhood, you know, specific focus, and doing what we could to help families that are kind of prenatal through age 5. And a lot of that was face-to-face events. You know, events that, you know, the Carnegie Center had or the Y had. You know, we were there passing out school supplies and fun things to do for families and information. And so, you know, how we deliver it's changed, of course, but, you know, that's still what we want to do, is to connect with those families. You know, and I think the one kind of, you know, silver lining, like everybody says, is that through technology and social media, we're not really time specific. You know, if a young, you know, parent is up at 3 a.m. with their child, they can watch the video, or they can, you know, read 3 to 5 tips on how to get your, you know, to read to your infant. You know, so we're going to keep doing that. You know, one of the major changes for us was that, you know, we always supported, you know, our partners and all of the events and activities they do. And we're still supporting them with, you know, supplies and activities and those kind of things. But we also want to make sure we weren't, you know, inadvertently giving them more work to do. You know, that they had to now worry about like 10 extra volunteers. You know, we wanted to make sure that they could, you know, do what they needed to do and still kind of everybody reach their goal. So it has been nice. It's been a nice change of pace. It's made everybody kind of look at their service models. But I think, you know, we'll go to a hybrid model especially for Countdown to Kindergarten. We've had a lot of families really interested in the short videos because some families couldn't make it to those in-person events. But we still want to drive families, to places like the Carnegie Center and the Y and, the Explorium and KET and all those, great events that they can do in the summer. So I think a hybrid model will be the way to do it. So it should be fun.
Excellent. All right, Miss Berry.
So we had to, make a huge shift. We have thousands of members who come into our branches for healthy living, to work out through our Live Strong program, whatever that may be. We did close our doors for that kind of activities, but we immediately stood up limited duration centers. And so in terms of providing care for children, we have not stopped. From the first week, we were providing care for medical professionals, and then we started providing care for essential services. So it was a quick shift. We actually decided to do from infant through school age. And that was new for us in our branches.
Wow.
To provide full day care in our branches. Our child care centers are used to doing that. So we pulled our child care center staff over, and we were able to provide that service in our branches for medical professionals and essential families. We have since shifted. They've been working the full time, and so we are giving our staff a break next week to kind of take a breather, because we want them to take care of their physical and mental health as well. And so they get a breather next week, and then that's when we kick off our camps. And of course, our camps will look different. I've already mentioned social distancing, but we are still having to follow the child care guidelines, and so we have to separate, and it's groups of 10 who need to be 6 feet away, and our staff have to wear masks and those kind of things. And so you just adjust, and you have to be flexible and try to switch our staff out and those kind of things. I will tell you, when this first started, we didn't think we would be running Power Scholars Academy, because it is best in person. It's really geared for students who are performing below the 40th percentile. But what we established with our partners is, kids have been out of school for 3 months. All of our children are struggling. I don't care how they tested. They have not had that in-person instruction, and no virtual instruction doesn't replace that. But the longer they can have that, the more support they have when we do go back to school. And so as we think about our future, we typically do a back to school rally as well, where we give out 6,000 backpacks.
Is Jessica freeze up?
That's not possible this year. We can't
Right.
socially distance in 17 different neighborhood parks and long lines. And so we are still trying to figure that out. And the supplies we give may shift. We've talked about masks and sanitizer and those kind of things, of what not just students may need, but teachers in the classrooms, and how do we help to make this transition safe. And then we are ready. We typically do after school in some of the school buildings as well as our branches. And we run programs when kids are out of school. And so we run full day care for school age children when kids are out. And so we're making plans for however and whenever we go back to school, how we can help continue to provide that support for students. And so it's a continual shift. And what we've started to say is, it's not the new normal, it's the next normal. And so how are we ready for the next normal? Because this is going to be, ever changing until we have a vaccine, or we really are able to address this head on.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say thank you guys for all rising up to the challenge and making that shift so quickly. Everybody's done such a phenomenal job with that. So I just want to give kudos to you guys.
Thank you for that, Vita. I still get goosebumps. We have stories from families that talk about, I couldn't have gone back to work if it weren't for you all. We
Definitely.
have, kids who would have been sitting at home and we tried to do the NTI work with them. It didn't always work out, but we tried our best to get them in front of a device when they needed to be, and to provide support when we could. And so we feel like we've learned from that, and we're going to carry that over into camp as well.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely. So this question I'm going to target towards Fitz and Randy. And so our new normal also includes being frozen from time to time. So, but anyway, this This question is for, Randy and Fitz. So one of the things we want to know is, I know having all of these services and, being so connected, just wanting to know what was the challenges, what have you been facing trying to stay connected and engaged with your families and students and the people that you work with, community. So Fitz, you're going first.
Sure. Yeah. Ways for us, for staying connected for families, it was finding that sweet spot where we're not putting too much of a burden on them. We want kids to have experiences. We want families, especially families with very young children, to know that they don't need to buy a bunch of stuff. We're not homeschooling. We're just kind of putting school on hold until they can go back to see their wonderful teachers. And especially with young kids, we wanted families to know that singing songs, is a great example of what they would be doing in school, or things that we made sure that our kids were doing were things that we wanted them to learn, like folding laundry. So a 2-year-old can't fold laundry, but he can sort the colors of the socks or the towels and those kind of things, and those kind of end up being kind of those adulting things we talk about when kids get older. But we wanted families to know that just asking questions, those open-ended questions, like, tell me what you did today, tell me, you look at this picture, where do you think they're going in this picture? Those are all kind of keeping those kids' minds moving, and that's what we want to do. We want their minds to kind of still be engaged and still be kind of those wheels turning. So when they do go back to school in whatever capacity it is, they're still there. And we wanted also families to know that, this is, when people have older children, they always say, I wish I had more time. Well, this is the one thing that this pandemic has given us, is more time with our kids. We ask families to, ask your kids what they like, maybe learn a little bit more about Shopkins or, Pokemon or something, that I would never want to know.
Right.
But to invest a little bit more time in what your kids are into,
right,
makes a huge difference, because, if we can keep them happy and mentally, prepared, the school, our wonderful teachers will catch them back up. The why and the work that they do with the after school program, they will catch everybody up. The Carnegie Center's programs, they'll catch everybody back up. But being at home, and hugging your kids and making sure that they're okay. We kind of talk about it in terms of preschool fire drills. If the teacher freaks out, you've got a whole classroom of kids freaking out. Right? But if you go into it with, we'll figure this out together as a family, whatever that family may consist of, you'll be okay. We'll make it through it together, like the governor says. We'll get through it. We may be limping through it, but we'll get through it. So
we're facing it together. We're facing it together, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the truth. If somebody takes off and run, I'm running behind them, because
exactly.
they ran.
Right.
Why would I stay around? So,
I feel like that sock sorting thing might be good for all of us, to just keep our brains from turning into mush. I'm thinking, I don't have kids at home. Maybe I should be doing that, because sometimes I've been here too long. For us, I think we also didn't want to overwhelm people, because this is the way everybody's communicating, and we know that we're providing more videos and more screen time, it's a challenge to do that. I think one of the things that we were hoping to do was, kids are going to hear a lot about how they're behind, and I think we are trying also to give them another motivation. So, that's where we're lucky that we work with creativity and writing and creative writing. And we're able to say, you can write your own story. You can journal about your experience, and your story matters. And so put some motivation behind them in terms of their literacy and their learning, so that it's not just about getting caught up, but it's about what you can do with these tools. And so we tried to produce things that would inspire kids and turn on that kind of creative light, because, one thing that happens in this moment is that we're all kind of forced out of a rut that we've been in, even if it's a good rut, even if it's the good school rut, but we can see the world differently. And this is a perfect opportunity to kind of light some of that creativity and say, here, go out, take in the world, write a poem, you know, get engaged and learning in a different way. That's one of the things that we feel like we're lucky to get to do with kids. And so how do we do that now? You know, I think it's the same thing.
Okay. You know what? I don't know, Jessica, if you have anything to add to that. I don't know if it looks different for you as well, but do you have anything?
I think they've captured it all. I mean, we've got nature walks included in our camps just to get kids out and exploring and being able to come back and write their thoughts. Mm-hmm. We feel like the more kids are outside as well, you know, let's get them exploring. Let's get them talking about what the different leaves are, or why rocks are different sizes, and, you know, that inquisitive nature, encouraging that in our kids from birth to 18, really. I don't have kids. I have a 19-year-old, and so, you know, she's been my chef here while she's been here. And so that, you know, the math, the putting ingredients together, figuring that out, you're right, in terms of, you know, this has been a pandemic, but it's been an opportunity for us to be more creative about how we are educating our children and our youth. And so I just wholeheartedly agree with what they've already said. And some of those I am going to implement into some of the things we do, the sock matching. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so great, guys. And I think that you guys kind of alluded to kind of my next question. So I just want your one, like, go-to low cost or no cost family activity that you do. As a matter of fact, the other night, and I hadn't done it in forever, and it's my husband and myself here, and we thumb wrestled. And of course I won, but just, you know, what's that, like, one go-to, you know, like, fun activity that you do, just quickly?
We've been listening to records, like vinyl records, sitting down and listening to an album, just listening to music and not doing anything else. And that has been just nice.
Cool.
Thanks.
We have a couple. So, and I brought a couple. So one of ours is very similar in terms of, you know, records and music, but we have very serious dance parties at our house. You know, and there's no judging. There's no, you know, there's no Simon Cowell. There's no somebody pushing a button. It's just very all out, you know, somebody gets to choose a song. And, you know, it's very interesting between the four of us in this house, what comes out of those dance parties. Another thing we do for families is the activities we always wanted to share with First 5 Lex were always either free or low cost. We don't ever want kind of creativity and those things, you know, family engagement to be a barrier. And so one of the things that we like to encourage families to do, and friends and people, is to draw portraits of each other. This is also very time consuming for adults. It's somewhat stressful, but it makes them come out of their comfort zone. Kids love it. I'll share this one. This is a picture of me that a 4-year-old drew. You know, it hangs up in my office.
Great likeness, great.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's uncanny. And so, you know, so my friend Bradley and I, we drew pictures of each other to do this. And so this was my picture of him.
Okay.
I see everybody as a cartoon character in my head, so his picture kind of came out as a cartoon character. One of the most recent ones that we've done is we make just simple paper frames. So you get a piece of paper or you get a piece of cardboard. For example, like Triscuits, or if you eat a lot of mac and cheese like we do in our house, you have, you know, mac and cheese boxes. But you basically, you fold a piece of paper in half or cardboard, you cut out a frame, and then you go and find something that's colorful or pretty, and you put it up against it. You know, we take that out in nature. You get a little pillow, and then, you know, each butterfly or each circle or each heart becomes a different color.
Cool.
You know, and that, of course, that for older kids, that leads into the story writing. My daughter is taking the pause class at the Carnegie Center right now. And, you know, but for younger kids, you know, it begs the questions like, what colors do you see? You know, tell me about the colors, those kind of things. And all those things are free, or, like in our case, things that we're going to recycle or throw away. And I am all about not spending money on materials.
Wow.
So
I'm going to make a frame after this show.
And I just have to say, I know Bradley, and so that was probably a Speedway cup with a cappuccino or a coffee in it, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I want to echo something Eamon said earlier in terms of this is a perfect time to get to know your children. And I want to say they're never too old to get to know them. And so, you know, as much as I can be an annoyance to my daughter, listening to her or figuring out about Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter,
TikTok.
Clearly I'm low tech. Has been interesting, but you know, we've pulled out the old board games, the old Uno, but we've also watched some game shows on television and sit and figure out who can come up with the answers the fastest. And so, you know, no money spent, but quality time to be able to still spend some time and get to know a 19-year-old. So
Yeah,
kids are never too old for you to get to know them even more or in a different way.
Well, you all must be at home watching Family Feud then.
We are. And who gets it first and how many points was it? And yes.
So I'm gonna take Vita's question, and I'm gonna skip down to the end, and I am going to ask you all to quickly give us some of your I guess advice, anything that we can, how to encourage, and quick tips that you can help give our parents to stay encouraged for during this busy summer, when the activities, you can't take them places, especially the ones that you all offer at your facility. Quick tips on, you know, and I know we kind of touched up on it, but like some quick tips that you can probably, and some encouragement that you can give our families right now.
Well, I would just encourage families to like read together, pick a book and read it together. I mean, everybody read it. Mm-hmm. And even no matter if it's your level or not, you know, I think reading aloud is such a great opportunity and just such a great way to connect, especially if you've been talking to each other all day and you've run out of things to say, because we've all run out of things to say. And so this is, you know, read what somebody else is saying. And that can be anything. Like that can be a book, that can be the news, and then have a conversation about it. You know, some of the best times I remember with my dad, and this wasn't during a pandemic, this is just when I was a child, was we would read something and then we would talk about it. And he wanted to know, and this goes to this theme that we've been talking about, getting to know your kids. He wanted to know what I thought. That's incredibly valuable for a child's education in terms of like thinking that their opinion matters and having something to say about something. So I think, you know, having something that is the basis that you're reading together, I think that's great, no matter what it is, really.
Fitz, you're up.
Sure. I mean, our tagline with First 5 Lex is read, talk, and play. And I think those are kind of the easiest things that you can do. If you can do that together, you know, it doesn't cost a lot, but we have family story times where each person gets to pick a book, and, you know, it could be something higher level that my daughter likes, or it could be, you know, something my 2-year-old likes. You know, he likes you know, Charlie Parker play Bebop. So then, you know, then we talk about, well, who was Charlie Parker? And then we can kind of, my 8-year-old can then kind of Google him and listen to some of his music that he made, and those kind of things. You know, so lots of different things. And, you know, we read a lot, we talk a lot about things, and also we kind of play. And it doesn't take a lot, and it doesn't take a lot of, you know, money or creative juices. But one of the things that I think the Carnegie Center also taught me at my time there was that creativity is definitely caught. It's not necessarily taught. So if you can see somebody doing it, if somebody can tell you about it, it's so much more than you know, you reading the directions. That if you see somebody doing, if you see somebody reading, if you see how you know, when somebody reads to you and how, you know, it can transfer you to a different world. Kids love those kind of things. And then even as adults, we start to kind of reminisce or remember, and that helps us as well.
Absolutely.
If I can just jump in there too, I just want to say that, like, I also think that we read, and one of the ways to respond is to write your own story. So if you read a fairy tale, I was talking about fairy tales with a child recently who was very upset about why Hansel and Gretel's mother would ever leave them. And so we talked about it, and she told her own story. She took that story and made it her own. And I think you can definitely do that. Like we tend to think of books as things that are static, but they aren't. their stories, and stories are alive, and they become alive because we tell them and we take them and we use them the way we want to use them. So I encourage families to do that, to say like, hey, let's write our own family story about the pandemic.
She likes a happy ending, doesn't she? No. Jessica, you're our last but not least.
All right, and I'm just going to wrap that up by saying, the Y is an organization whose cause is to strengthen communities through healthy spirit, mind, and bodies. And so I want to say, please take care of your spirit, your mind, and your body. As Eamon said, get out and play. That's going to lift your spirits as we are still social distancing or still at home. Read. And make the reading come alive. That helps your mind to envision yourself somewhere else doing something else, and take care of your body. We, like many other organizations, have opportunities online now. You don't have to be a member of our Y to go pull up a workout video to help take care of your body. So, if there's anything I wanted to say out there is, please, 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 people are struggling financially, they're struggling with mental health. Take care of your spirit, mind, and body as best you can.
Absolutely. Well said,
Great
Jessica.
advice.
Well said. So listen, you all, that was a lot of good information. I really appreciate you all giving us all those gems to have in our toolbox. We really appreciate you. Of course, we would like you to come back to help us talk more about the services that you provide, and as we go on throughout the year, I know that would look different, so we want to have you back. Okay.
All right. And thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you for chatting with us on this week's Face It. We would like to continue to stay connected to you and build our community even stronger by supporting our families. Vita's going to tell us how we can do that before we jump off. She's going to let our audience know how we can do that.
Yes, send us your pictures, your videos, and words of encouragement that we can share with each other, and because we're all facing this together. So go to faceit@fayette.kyschools.us, and on Friday we want to highlight some of the things you send, your messages and your encouragement to other families, so we're supporting each other. Thanks again for today's topic, and again, you can email us at any questions at faceit@fayette.kyschools.us, or text us at 859-903-5531. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, and so to end everything, I just want to remind everybody to mark their calendars, because we will feature a new Face It show, topic July 9th at 6:30. So you don't want to miss that. We want to continue to partner and stay connected with everyone, especially during this pandemic. And then we just want to continue to face it together. We will thank you for joining us today. We will see you all again. Bye, you all.
Bye, guys.